Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Today I'm going to deliver a very important topic and speech or issue. As you know, or did you know, according to statistica.com, which is a very reliable resource, one of the main reasons we felt unhappy and angry is because of receiving a lie or a fake news. Because fake news has an average that contains sadness, anger, such as racism, democracy, or even make the reader of the fake news panic. Like one of the example is in May 2018, someone or the spreader of the fake news wrote on social media, first in Line News and Facebook, that a bomb has been planted near the president's house in Jakarta. By seeing that news, everyone on social media keeps spreading because of shock and panic, and believing it's a really real news. But however, while this news doesn't exist, at the time the situation is very chaos. Many people panicking around or even having a very negative impact on their health, like insomnia, because they afraid the president will be in danger. But actually it's a fake news. So by seeing those fake news without knowing the negative impact either on yourself and the other, you should know the characteristic of fake news. What is fake news? What is the characteristic? What is the impact or the effect of fake news to the other? Because fake news is not a little thing. It's a very serious topic and issue to talk about. So we will deeper on the fake news. So here comes the first point. What is a fake news? As you know, fake news created by unknown people or uncertificated people, such as ordinary people that doesn't have a specific job. It can be adult or even child, like teenagers, that spread the fake news. And they like to release a news. They just make up a story and make it into news to make themselves viral, dropping another one, and even worse, lead a chaos. There are two types of people who have a connection in fake news. The first one is the spreader, and the second one is the creator. The creator is the one that make up a story, and spreader is the one that spread the fake story to another person, one to another. We can be the spreader because we don't know how to handle it. It can't be a serious problem because we're spreading a fake news, fake lie. I mean a lie that make people believe it. So here's the one of the example of the fake news. As we know, the creator of the fake news in here is Bob. Why this is considered as a fake news? Because this news is reliable as the fake news explanation. The first one is unknown person or uncertificated person, people. Like, we don't know who is Bob, and this is created by Bob without profile picture on Twitter. Because of this, it can't make people very misunderstanding of this fake news if you don't be careful. The first one is the creator. We can see a reliable source if it's on BBC News or other news such as Compass, but not in Twitter, guys, because Twitter is doesn't post news, not only news but memes and many others. So the first one is the creator. It's not really certificate, and the date October 15, 2017. Come on guys. At 2017, I think Trump doesn't endorse for president really statement. And the date, this is one of the example. You need to check the date also. If you think that the date is not match for the news, you can't consider it as one of the fake news. Look at the C. There is many people respond on it. 125 respond and consider as a top comment. There's much top comment. This one consider as a spreading because as we know and as you know, fake news become more powerful if we react through it. If you don't react through it, a fake news is just a fake news. Nobody will believe it. But because of our reaction, keep spreading it and keep believing it, the fake news will come to people's mind one to another. That make the fake news considered as a real news. So here's one of the example of majority fake news on America. As we know, fake news people still lack of understanding about differentiate what is a fake news and a real news. Here's we can see on the statistic we see in here 64% of US adults suffer a great deal of confusion by differentiate what is a fake news and what is a real news. They can't see the difference. 64% and 24% some confusion. Some realize is a fake news and a real news, and not much no confusion is otherly. So we can see 64% of adults like in millennials that like to see social media the most, and the second one is Generation Z, considered as a great deal of confusion that leads to misunderstanding the fake news. That is not really good guys, because fake news has many impact. One of them is fear, because they afraid what going to happen. For example, like the 2018 May, there's a bomb in Jakarta and people fear the place of Jakarta because there's bomb. And the racism idea. Racism is not good because racism can hurt people feeling. For example, there's a people named John. John is an innocent person, but there is a spreader or a creator of a fake news that make that disguise as a John and do racism thing and tag John. By people seeing that, they will consider John is a bad guy, but actually John is an innocent people that do nothing. I think it's a sin guys, because we lie to others. We lie that actually this guy is a good guy, but because of the fake news, the guy who do innocent things need to defend themselves from the racism ideas and lead to bullying and violence against Jones, the innocent people. Worse to democratic impacts that may lead to chaos because of the fake news. So here are how to spot the fake news. The first one, you need to consider the source. Is it reliable or not? The reliable source, for example, is BBC and Compass.com, Tribune News, and other. Not in Instagram, that consists of meme, 9gag, Facebook, Twitter, or even Wikipedia is not reliable at all. And you cannot read only the main point, the title. For example, there is a person died. You can't really read the main point, but the specific point to the introduction and the conclusion, why he is died, the cause of the death, the date, the author, and search more than one source. And also check, is it a joke or like a meme or a very serious news. So my conclusion is fake news has many effects either on student, younger age, adult age, elderly, society, and even economy because of misunderstanding of the news. One of the factor why fake news can spread easily is because your reaction. The reaction that spread the fake news one to another that makes people keep react with different perspective and emotion that makes the fake news considered as a real news. However, it's still a fake news, and as you know, it has many negative impacts such as fear, racism, idea, bullying, violence, and democratic that cause a chaos. So my conclusion is, if you see a news, you can't just believe it just like that. You need to see, is it logic, is it realistic, and you also need to use your thinking skill, research skill, and knowledgeable, or even communication to communicate to other people. Hey, is it real? Do you believe it? Like, don't just spread. Please, guys, don't just spread a news that you just a customary belief or opinion of others. You need to very think deep of it. Thank you.